Hello, this is Simon Clark, Director of the Smokers Lobby Group Forest, reporting from the Freedom Dinner 2013 at Boisdale of Canary Wharf. And we're going to speak to some of our guests tonight and see why they're here.
I'm Harry Phibbs. I'm a councillor in Hammersmith and Fulham and a great supporter of freedom of choice in all matters, including freedom of choice in whether to smoke cigarettes or not. I think it's an absolute core belief. I think it's the most fundamental thing, and it's not always an easy belief. You get unpopular minorities, and it might be people wanting to hunt foxes, or people wanting to smoke cigarettes, or people wanting to have gay sex, or you're going to think of all sorts of unpopular minority pursuits where people think, oh, I don't like that idea. But if we believe in freedom, then we should be tolerant and we should allow people to make that choice.
You got people here tonight from all different walks of life who believe in freedoms, who believe in choice, and this is what this is all about tonight.
And Gary, tell us, remind me, what do you do?
I drive a London taxi. I believe in choice, and I'm here tonight to support this cause. And when I drive around London and I see people standing outside the pubs, especially when you go past the CIU clubs and the social clubs, you see old people standing outside clubs in the winter when it's -2 degrees or -10, and so much for global warming. I mean, the climate is not getting warmer, that's for sure. They're being forced outside. These people are not going to die of passive smoking, they're going to die of pneumonia.
I have to explain, has been running the Hands Off Our Packs campaign over the last 18 months. Now, Angela, when we started this campaign, we thought it'd last about 6 months. So why are you still running it?
Because although we've gone a long way down the line to securing a victory, we've still got a long way to go. And as long as you want me, we're going to carry on fighting this campaign right to the end. When you actually start talking to people and explaining exactly what happens, largely we were met with people thinking this was either ridiculous, insane, stupid, or as my 86-year-old mum said, that won't bloody work. And that's right.
Simon, it's a fantastic night. Thank you very much for inviting me. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic to see so many like-minded people here tonight. It's brilliant. And I think this is, I mean, you look at people here from so many different areas. Why aren't we all talking together, and why aren't we all getting together for a fantastic night similar to this to be able to exchange ideas and to get across some good points?
So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very, very warm welcome to the Director General of the IEA, Mr. Mark Littlewood.
I want to talk to you tonight about wisdom and knowledge. The human race, to which so many of you belong, often confuses the two. But I want to argue that the opponents of freedom are on a questionable, fruitless, and scientifically dubious quest for perfect knowledge. That those who wish to deny us the right to freely enjoy the fine things in life, a cigar, a nice glass of wine, a fattening burger, or a flutter on the horses, seem to be miserable people who only want to extend life but not enjoy it. The sort of people who frankly start off every day with a smile just to get it over with. So I'm not a heavy drinker. I sometimes go for hours without a drop. I have a very firm rule never to smoke more than one cigarette at a time. And I don't take illegal drugs. I believe cocaine is God's way of telling you you're making too much money. I say that we should heed the immortal words of those great philosophers of the 20th century, Belinda Carlisle and the Go-Go's. Live your life be free. Thank you and have a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to Lord Bell.
Thank you very much, Simon. Good evening. I was downstairs having a cigarette, which is where I would rather be now. As you are all believers in freedom, if you all want to go outside and have a cigarette, please do. And please turn your mobile phones on so that you don't miss out on anything. When General de Gaulle first came to England after the Second World War had finished, he went to lunch at Buckingham Palace with the Queen and Harold Macmillan, and he brought with him Madame de Gaulle. And they gathered in Buckingham Palace for lunch, and during the first course, naturally, the Queen chatted away to General de Gaulle in her native German while he spoke in French. And as you will know, de Gaulle, when he lived here during the war, refused ever to speak English, so he never ever spoke English. When the dessert course was served, the Queen turned to Madame de Gaulle and she said, "Madame de Gaulle, to what are you most looking forward in your retirement?" And Madame de Gaulle said, "Your Majesty, I most look forward to a penis." And General de Gaulle, speaking English for the first time in his life in London, said, "Here, my dear, they pronounce it happiness." The other thing I discovered today, which depressed me enormously, was I had for many years believed that one of the great problems that we face is that we must constantly learn nothing from the past and reinvent every lesson that we've ever learned, and normally not quite as well as we did the first time. I'm fascinated by the concept of passive smoking. Lord Wakeham, who's a great friend of mine and who ran the smoking committee in the House of Lords for many years, in the days when we used to be allowed to smoke in there, which we aren't now, and he sat on the House of Lords Economic Committee looking at the evidence before they passed the bill saying that we couldn't smoke anymore, or not in public anyway. The chap who writes all the letters about passive smoking came and submitted his evidence to us. There is not one shred of substantial scientific evidence of the existence of passive smoking. And it is one of the most terrible lies that a democratically elected government has pursued and imposed on people all around the world. It's quite extraordinary. Anyway, look, you all believe in freedom, and I think you should do that. But I think if you really want to believe, you have to fight for it. And what a civil society is a society that acts with restraint. And that's exactly why health czars would not exist in a society which I had control of. You act with restraint, with honour, and against a code, your own personal ethical code, of knowing the difference between right and wrong. We are on the edge of an enormous collapse of the democratic concept, and we don't have an alternative. And I find that very worrying. But the one thing that I will think will remain constant throughout all of these changes is that if there are enough people who believe that human beings should be free to think, free to speak, free to move, free to act, if there are enough people who feel like that, then that's probably where we'll end up. Thank you.
I've got Martin Collop. Martin writes for the Free Society website. Martin, what are you doing here tonight?
Well, we're celebrating freedom, I think. We've had a good time. We heard some great speeches, and we're learning about how people should be proud to be free. Really.
But do you feel that your freedoms are under threat?
They've been under threat for a long time. You know, the Free Society writes about lots of different situations where freedom is being undermined, and they're very, very subtle ways, and they're just little salami slices, and they lead on to bigger freedoms and the way that people feel they're being undermined in a general way. Well, it's leading obviously to where there seems to be an elite trying to tell us all how to live, and I think we should reject it entirely.
Now, I have with me a supporter of Forest for many, many years who goes by the wonderful name of Pat Nurse. Now, Pat feels very strongly about issues like the smoking ban and has been very outspoken on her own blog for many, many years. Pat, how has the smoking ban affected your life?
It's really difficult to explain this, and I try, and I don't know how. But ultimately, I am the person I am, and the person I am is a person who has always smoked. Now, when you have a blanket ban with absolutely no avenue for choice, no avenue for me to associate freely with other people like myself, I feel like that you're saying to me, you, Patners, are not welcome in this place. You know, if you have 100 pubs in a town, why can I please not have one club of my own where I can go and meet my friends and socialise with people like me, where somebody who doesn't like smoking doesn't have to come anywhere near me? And frankly, the way that this issue has become so divisive, I'd be really happy if that kind of person didn't come anywhere near me.
I'm here with Dan Donovan. Dan, tell us a bit about what you do.
I'm a graphic designer, a photographer, a filmmaker, and a musician.
So, what do you feel about a lot of the restrictions that have been introduced on smoking, for example, in recent years?
I think it's very over the top. I think there's a lot of fear attached to it, and ultimately control of individuals and how they live their lives. And I don't understand it really, but I think it's almost like it's distracting people from real issues.
I mean, and are you concerned the way things are going? Do you think things are going to get worse before they get better?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think maybe in 100 years' time, there'll be people smoking again, and they will turn around and say, remember when there was that prohibition law around smoking?
Thank you for that thought, Dan. I can say with some certainty that neither of us will be there in 100 years' time. This is Simon Clark reporting from the Freedom Dinner, Boisdale of Canary Wharf, July 2013.